Are we live? We're live. We are live. Hi guys, and welcome to episode 14 of these live Q&A/talks. Just a chance for anyone to come on, ask their questions. We'll have a chat about some different things as well. We'll hopefully get a few more people come in. If you're in, go down into the chat, have a chat, ask your questions, different things like that. Today's live is sponsored by Coke. XRP, hi buddy, how you doing? Today's episode is sponsored by Coke because I am currently near the 30-hour mark of constantly being awake, and I'm starting to feel it a little bit. So I was working. Chip King, hi mate, how you doing? So last night I was working, finished, then went straight to mum and dad's, got showered, went to golf, and then got back from golf at about 5, I think. And yeah, so I'm just trying to power through till bedtime now, so I get a decent day. So by the time it's also 2:30, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. So 8 on to 24. So probably looking at about a 32-hour day before going to bed, and then get a good sleep. I haven't got to be at work till 4:30 tomorrow, so try and get a decent sleep. But yeah, so gonna rely on you guys a little bit. So I've got a bit of a rash either side. I've had it for quite a while. A lot of you guys might have picked up on it. Hi Andy, how you doing? So yeah, I've got like this rash on the side, and it's a little bit of treatments just bringing that out, some of the stuff. So when was it? March 2020 in Miami. I got sun poisoning, and after that, I got like this little rash thing, and I've tried antibiotics, I've tried some different stuff, and I've actually got like a new face scrub at the moment, and I think it's working. But in order to try and bring the stuff out, it's just bringing me out into a little bit of a rash. So hopefully, it's kind of like it gets worse before it gets better. But yeah, I've had this for probably over a year now, probably longer than that, a couple of years. So it's like I say, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. If you look through my videos, you'll probably see some of my videos with it. Trying to keep my beard down also helps. I feel when my beard grows, it brings some of it out as well. So yeah, if you go through my videos, you'll see it. But yeah, I very much know about this rash. I get it a little bit here as well, but I feel like that's from wearing a woolly hat at the moment. So yeah, it's something that I'm going through, but it's all good. It's like I say, I've got a new face thing at the moment. It's trying to get it all out, but obviously it brings it out in spots at the moment, trying to drag all the crap from underneath out. So yeah, it's just one of them things. Trash Panda, hi mate, how are you? So yeah, just so going back. So yeah, by the time I go to bed tonight, I would have been up for 32 hours. Self-inflicted, obviously, because it's one of them things with this job that if you want to do something like I did today, like I wanted to go golf, because I haven't played golf this year, and the boys were doing like a little society day at a golf club, so I wanted to go and do that. So in order to do that, I do have to pull a long day. So by the time I'd finished work, I'd been awake for like 18 hours. Obviously went golf, got back. I've been up 27 hours, but there's no point in me having like a 2-hour nap and then being awake till the early hours. So yeah, I'm just trying to crack through like a 32-hour day and then get a good maybe 12, 14 hours sleep before tomorrow's shift. Hi, Danny. How you doing? How you doing, mate? So yeah, this, like I say, this is just a Q&A. You can ask questions about dog handling. You can ask questions about me. Anything you like. Like I say, there's no real questions I won't answer if I feel it's appropriate. David Cummins. Hi, mate. How you doing? How's everything with you? How have you got on with your fact finding? I know you're sort of fact finding at the moment, so if you've got any questions, now's a good time to ask. Got loads of good people in. This week has been decent. So I actually didn't work my Sunday shift this week. Took the fiance, I should say, because you haven't got me. Took the fiance up to London. Went to Royal Albert Hall for Cirque du Soleil. So her kind of Valentine's present from me was to go and watch Cirque du Soleil. And it's the first time I've been. Very, very good. Recommend if you ever get the chance to go and watch them, to go and do that. I thought it was really good. Tickets weren't too bad. There wasn't loads available. It was about 90, just under 90 quid a ticket each, but well worth it. And like I say, just a little night up in London. Keeps girlfriend, or keeps saying girlfriend, keeps the fiance happy, because a lot of times with this job, obviously I work nights, she works days. We don't see loads of each other, so every now and then doing something like that is always good. And I believe she's going to get me tickets to go and see the new film Dog. And if you haven't seen it, there's trailers out on YouTube. There's a new film with Channing Tatum out about. It's called Dog, and it's about a Malinois, like a service Malinois. I don't know the whole storyline, but it's like a Malinois, and their handlers died, and they want to get the dog to the funeral, but the dog keeps attacking people, and it's like a journey. He has to take this dog on like a journey, and it's kind of him and the dog start becoming friends, etc. So I think that'll be quite interesting. Obviously, hold out hope that this doesn't start making pet owners start buying Malinois, because a lot of us do know that Malinois are not a pet. And okay, this film's going to be good and it may be popular, but hopefully that doesn't mean that people will start going out buying Malinois just to be house pets, because otherwise in probably a year's time, 6 months to a year's time, you're going to be picking up loads of Malinois from shelters, things like that, that you'll be able to take into security work. So if you're thinking about getting a dog within the next six months to a year, there's a good chance that there'll be lots of Malinois going cheap from people that have bought a Malinois because they've seen it in a film and thought it was a good idea, and then realised afterwards that it's not. So hopefully, I have seen the trailer, and it does show parts of the Malinois where it like escapes out the cage, breaks out of a cage, and runs away. It tears up the interior of the car. So hopefully, them little bits that maybe people will see, they'll realise that yes, Malinois aren't pets, and this is how destructive they can be. And hopefully, that will put sort of like the pet people off buying Malinois and leaving the Malinois up to security personnel and trained individuals. But you never know. There's a lot of people out there that think that they can take on a dog like that, and then, like I say, in 6 months realise it's not going to happen, and them dogs end up in the shelters. But hopefully not. But what was people saying on that? Trash Panda. I'm on my SIA course this week. There's a guy sitting in front of me who's going into dog handling as well. Explosives though. Oh, that's fine. I spoke to you, didn't I? Because I was talking to you, and you said that you was going into your SIA, and I said to you, look, just don't stress about it. Like, don't start filling your head with knowledge that you think you're going to need. Just let the course give you the information that you're going to need for the test. So hope that's going well. You seem pretty chilled out. So yeah, let's hope that's going well. Chip King, it will. I feel like I'm hoping it's not like a massive boom in. I'm hoping it's not a massive boom in Malinois being brought as pets. But yeah, there's going to be a fair few. So like I say, 6 months to a year's time, you may see a lot of Malinois up for rehoming. So like I say, if you're looking for a Malinois working dog, possibly maybe hold out 6 months and see what's going on. Danny Rolfe, I already see so many up for rehoming. Yeah, like I say, they're not the easiest dogs, and I've said lots of times on here that I like the idea of it, but I know I'm not brave enough at the moment because I know I'm not experienced enough to do that, and it would maybe take me to get more experience with German Shepherds and more experience as a dog handler before I even entertain going into that. So Dave Cummins, not bad, thanks. Been finding out about dog bites and if it happens and how to cover yourself. Bit of a nightmare to people who want to talk about. A bit of a nightmare to people who want to talk about dog bites. XRP was the same when the movie Max was out. I don't think I've watched that. I assume that had a Malinois and people started buying it because of that. XRP 12 years and 0 bites, something to be proud of. Dave Cummins, some people say yes, your dog can bite, but some trainers say no, they can't. Yeah, that's so. It's very interesting, isn't it? Is that we obviously know that if the worst case scenario happens and the dog has to defend you, then yes, the dog can bite. Yes, we don't want that to happen, and it is obviously the absolute last resort. Is when everything else hasn't worked and you've got no choice. Let's say you're cornered and you have no other choice. It is just a hard one, but I don't want. The problem is that you don't want security dog handlers to end up being seriously injured or really, really hurt or even possibly killed because they're scared to use their dogs. I know for a fact that yes, I will use mine as a last resort, but you have to remember that your life matters, and if it's a case of you getting really, really badly hurt or possibly dying, then you just have to let the dog do its job. And like I say, I feel like people are sort of scaremongered into never using the dog, when sometimes you have to realise that okay, look, this needs to happen, and the dog needs to do its job. So yeah, there's people are saying no, you can't do it because you don't want the dog to be put down. No one wants their dog to be put down, but no one wants you to die either, or no one wants you to spend a year in the hospital because you decided that you didn't want to use the dog. So you train your dog for these purposes, and obviously it is an absolute last resort. But people shouldn't be scaremongered into not using the dog because, like I say, the last thing you want to do is spend a year in hospital or possibly die because people have been telling you you can't let your dog bite. You can say I'm a bit hot-headed and maybe I would use my dog when I don't need to, and I don't believe I would. But what I would believe is that I wouldn't risk dying because I'm scared about what would happen if my dog bit someone. So yeah, there are two sides of it. You have to obviously be very careful, and a lot of people say no, never let your dog bite, or if you put your dog back in the van and take someone one-on-one. Well, that's all great, but if you end up dying, then the dog's lost its owner anyway. So at the end of the day, it's a judgment that you need to make, but don't be scaremongered out of never using your dog if a life or death situation happens. Trash Panda, yeah, all going well, thanks, mate. First day passed, waiting for Saturday for final tests. Excellent, well done, mate. Well done. Hopefully, fingers crossed for your tests. I'm sure everyone else will say that as well. Danny Rolfe, I have a Mal. I brought him home and got him in the kennels. I then cried. was like, what the F have I done? Within 48 hours, it was the right thing. Yeah, exactly. Like I say, lots of people. You have to remember that obviously these films have trained dogs as well. So these dogs are trained to do this. That's their job. So whenever you see dogs in films, whatever the dog is doing, it's trained to do that. So don't think that you're going to get this Malinois and it's just going to be doing all the obedience and things like that. And Malinois are like up here, like 90% of the time, 95% of the time. Andy Llewellyn, has your dog been worked on a hidden sleeve? Not yet. That is the next stage. And the problem is that the decoy that does that, I believe, is not as given up dog handling. Whether that's through health issues or whatever it is, I'm not 100% sure. The decoy that does that isn't training at the moment, but I do want to do it. But whether I'll maybe need to go to another trainer or whether I'll have to go to like a decoy session and do that, I don't know. But no, he hasn't done that yet. But it is the next step for him, I believe. AJP. Hello, mate. How you doing? Very good, very good. Hope you're well. Chip King, it's an absolute pain in the backside when your dog has to bite in defence of you. Paperwork and dealing with the police, it's an absolute pain. And yeah, like I say, it may be a pain, but if it stops you being put in hospital, stops you dying, don't think about the pain of having to fill out paperwork. If it saves you from getting stabbed or getting beaten or whatever it is, because as far as I'm concerned, if someone wants to put me in hospital or wants to try and kill me, I'll gladly write out the paperwork in order to stop that happening. So, like I say, it's lots of people say like, never get your dog to do this, never get your dog to do that, and I just worry that there are certain handlers or certain timid handlers that maybe haven't got the confidence to deal with situations. Is that if they felt threatened, that they would pull away from using their dog and end up getting seriously hurt because people have told them that it's not to do it or whatever it is. You have to remember there are laws there that allow us to do it because of the situation. So it all comes with experience, and like I say, you just have to be very careful. It's such a touchy subject. I'm sure I can say stuff, or I'm sure I will say stuff that people will just throw their arms up in the air and say, "I can't believe he said it." Saying something like, "I'm not afraid to use my dog in defence." Some people will say, "Well, that's a stupid thing to say." Other people will say, "Look, you're right. If it's a case of life or death or serious injury, then absolutely you have to do whatever it is to keep yourself safe if there's no other option." Where was we? Dave Cummings, thanks for the feedback. I agree with you. I'm sure everyone agrees with me. I am the person of all knowledge. Personally, I think if a dog has a solid out command, then it shouldn't be an issue if I'm not wrong. So yeah, obviously an out command is absolutely essential. That's more important than the bite. So my dog was more taught. I taught my dog the out before I really taught my dog to bite, because that is the most important part. Because if you can't out your dog, it becomes excessive force, and then excessive force is what GBH and certain other offences then come into play. So yeah, having the solid out command is more important than the bite, and something that probably, well, I personally think should be taught before the dog is taught to bite. So I'd say that's the way I would go around it. XRP out is very important. Yeah, hopefully I will be retired within 6 to 8 months. Well, enjoy your retirement. Are your dogs retiring in 6 to 8 months as well, or are they going to be going to another handler? Danny Rolfe, it's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. That's so true. Life first. Yeah, exactly. So judged by 12 is obviously a jury in a court, then carried by 6, which is 6 people carrying a coffin. So like I say, no one wants their dog to be put down, but then no one wants to die. So it's a very much catch-22, and the law is so thin on it, really, because they want to let you be able to protect yourself, but they want to be able to prosecute you if they feel like it was unneeded. So I'll say, no, there are no rules to, yes, you can do it at this situation, and no, you can't do it in this situation. Every situation will need to be judged by a jury or whoever it is. Every situation will have to be judged on its own merit to whether the dog was needed or not. So, like I say, if you're going to look through the laws and see if someone's swinging a bat at you, bat at you warrants a dog bite, you're not going to find the answer to that. It will be the situation based of the video evidence of why is that person swinging a bat? Was that person swinging a bat in order to hurt you, or was that person swinging a bat to try and keep distance between you and them, let's say? So it all comes down to obviously their threat or whatever it is. So AJP, there is a very good trainer who teaches protection. If you need help, mate, I can give you his website. I've always said that I'll be open if people have recommendations, things like that. And obviously, it's very geographical. That's big. That was quite a big word, wasn't it? It's very geographical dependent. I don't have loads of time to drive around. I mean, I've spoken to Armitage K9, and he said, like, if you're ever in the area, then come down. Now, am I going to be around that area? Very, very unlikely. Possibly, maybe once a year. But if I am, then maybe I'll give him a shout. So it's very much geographically needs to work out for me. Because, like I say, I obviously work lots of nights, sleep in the day, and then the days that I do have off, I can't just disappear and go and do stuff, because obviously I have a family life and I have other commitments as well. But yeah, like I say, if you can always send me stuff and I can always have a look, and if it's possible, then I can always reach out to them, etc. I had a really good point I was going to make at some point in that conversation. There was a really good point I was going to make, and I've completely forgotten about it. But maybe it'll come back to me. Maybe it'll come back. So last two videos. What have the last two videos been? Because I've actually forgotten myself. So the last two videos have been. So the last. So the second to last video was security protection dog, my tool. So that was a video about quite similar to what we were just talking about regarding to the biting stuff. So my dog, my tool. So when is my dog, and when is my dog, my tool? So when me and the dog are at home and when we're out in public places, he is my dog. He is not my tool. Now, obviously, he still has that tool side to him. So if I was in a residential area or populated area and something was to happen, obviously I can turn him back. I can turn him into my tool. But 99.5% of the time, he's just going to be my dog, and he's going to be a pet, and we're going to have lots of fun together. We'll play ball, we'll go for walks, etc. But obviously, when we go on site, I have to understand that this dog is now my tool, and it's the same as taking your tools to work. He's there to do a job, and I have to let him do that job. And it's quite similar to what we was talking about in the biting, that not so much maybe a bite, but I have to understand at some point that there could be a situation where I have to forget that he is my dog, because, as I said in the video, that you would never send your kids into a dangerous situation, and most people would never send their pets into a dangerous situation. And that's obviously very similar for me with my dog, but I know that I've trained him for a special area of expertise, let's say. And I have to detach myself and say, right, he's no longer my dog. He's now my tool. We have no other option out of here. He has to do what his job is. And like I say, but when I say he's my tool, if I have to send him in to do protection work or whatever it is, if there's a really bad situation, I have to remember he's my tool. But in the back of my head, I always know that he's going to be my dog. So if I send him in, it doesn't necessarily mean that I won't be going into. Maybe it's a possible thing that I will have to go in as well. So yeah, that's not my dog, my tool. Like I say, it's just a chat about like the difference and where I struggled at the start of taking my dog to training and obviously putting him through the training. I struggled to think that one day I was going to have to possibly put him in a situation where he could get hurt, because as a dog owner, you do everything you can to stop your dogs getting hurt. And when you go into this, there is a chance that you're going to have to put your dog in a position where you know or you possibly think he's going to get hurt. But it's what we were saying. It's like him or me or both of us, whatever it is. But the best chance me and him have got of coming out of this is for me to send him into that situation. And it is like a double con on the dog, because I know that my dog will look at me and think, well, he's never going to send me into a situation where I'm going to get hurt. And if I ever have to send my dog into a situation, the reason I'm sending him into that situation is because someone is going to get hurt. And I'm just hoping that it's not going to be us. And that is the point I was going to make. So that's the point I was going to make earlier. So I'll just jump back quickly. So when someone was saying about the out command being very important, and obviously like with the bite, I have no problem. Now, a lot of people, when they train, they obviously train for the dog to go on, and they hold and they either push or they pull or whatever it is. Now, people have had a go at me about my dog, that he's not got a full bite and he's only got like a half bite or a 3/4 bite, etc. Now, if someone was acting up and they was being threatening or whatever it is, my dog's best bite for me at that time would just be a F off, a quick snap and F off, and then come back. And so it'd be a quick F off, let go and come back, and then see what that person does. That, to me, that would be the ideal first bite. So that person would come in, start being aggressive, the dog would go F off, and then when that person goes ow and steps back, then we assess what the situation is. If that person then comes forward and has a go again, then maybe you send the dog in. But that was going to be my point, is that just because you've got to get your dog to protect you, or the dog has to protect itself and you, it doesn't necessarily have to be the most vicious bite where it bites and holds on and drags the person across the floor. If the initial one is a quick F off and that person goes oh and walks off, then that's probably one of the best outcomes, because the dog has protected you. You're now not in danger. The dog, and your dog had to protect you, but that person hasn't got any serious injury. But that person got a warning from the dog of what could happen if he carried on. And sorry, that was going to be my point. So that was going to be my point about the dog with a bite not having to latch on, and you not having to try and like strangle the dog off with the out or whatever. The first bite for me, the first perfect bite for me, would just be a quick F off. Let's see what's going to happen now. And if that person goes, all right, I'm backing off, and walks off, happy days. Because very rarely, obviously, there maybe still be something that you'd have to go through because your dog has bitten someone. But if it's just a quick warning one, very unlikely that you're going to cause damage to that person to the extent that you're going to be under GBH or whatever it is. So, like I say, that was going to be my point earlier when we was talking about biting, about the quick F off one first. See if that person still comes forward. If that person backs off, the dog should then calm itself down and feel like it's done its job. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a big, deep, bone-crunching bite. in order to have the same effect of that person stepping away. Well, I'll just quickly go through because I saw some messages whilst I was talking about that video. Obsidian K9 Academy. Someone said to me about it. It could have even possibly been yourself, but someone said to me about them before. Dominic Elsie. Stay clear of him. He's known for being very barbaric to you dog. I've seen him choke a dog out on many occasions. What do you think the future is for the dog handling insecurity? Do you think it's expanding and there's more of a use and need? I have very limited knowledge of it, really, because I've only been doing it a year. Like 18 months I've seriously sort of been involved and looked around at it. I think I've proven with this channel that the people are out there to expand it. I feel like at some point there's going to be a shift in training, and there's going to be different methods of training coming through. Whether that's because a lot of the jerk and whatever it is, like the jerk training. So that would be like the rip training, where you're not choking the dog around, but you're giving it quick pops and all that. That kind of training, I feel like, is going to start going away, and different types of training, like more balanced training or positive only training, I feel like that's going to come in, and maybe that will get more people into the industry, because they won't see like the jerk training where it's so brutal, where you can see some dogs, they're not hurt, but they're kind of put in their place, and it's kind of like the alpha male, like the alpha handler on the dog. I'd like to think that it is going to expand, because I've proven with the channel that there's people who've been put off that are now getting into it because they've seen my videos, and they've been able to find out more information in these lives through the Discord. And there's more people that have decided to go for it, where 6 months ago they decided that they didn't want to do it because of what they'd seen at training, or the stories people have been told, or the information they've been given. So I feel like if we can get the right information out on YouTube or on the right platforms, get the right information out about the job, I can't see why it can't expand, and why we can't become a more recognised and understood industry. In terms of need, I feel like there is. I feel like there is need for it, mainly because with dog handling, obviously it can be a single person. So if you are obviously short on security officers, you can have one security officer with a dog handler, where on that site you may have to have two security officers. Therefore, you're freeing up an extra security officer. And obviously with dog handlers not needing to be given facilities in terms of toilets, kitchen, whatever it is, microwave, whatever it is, it does allow more customers to have security officers. If you're in a field, they don't have to offer you a portaloo or somewhere with power. You're meant to be self-sufficient. So yeah, I think it's always going to be around. The work's always going to be there. And like I say, there's lots of sites where there are two security officers on, where they could easily have just one dog handler. So yeah, there's I feel like it will grow. Hopefully it will. And like I say, I feel like it's up to the people in the industry and the people that are around. I feel like it's up to them to make sure we give out the right information, and we more inspire people than scare people about it. And a lot of that comes back to what we was talking about earlier, about scaring people that they want to get into security dog handling, but then if situations happen, you get told not to use your dog, and they're like, well, what's the point in that? So yeah, like I say, I feel like we can do it, and it's up to the people that are in the industry to get the right information out on platforms. I'd like to see maybe a few of like maybe some of the big NASDO trainers, maybe them do some sort of videos on YouTube or whatever it is. Not showing off, not trying to show off training, not trying to show off, but giving people information about training, about maybe some side of it. They don't have to give out loads of information. They don't have to give out loads of information, but just maybe a little bit of information that would put someone that's wanting to look into this in a better place when they start looking for trainers or whatever it is. Because, okay, if they get themselves out, they'll obviously get themselves noticed, and they'll possibly get more people come to them for training. But if it's not possible for that person to get to them for training, then make sure that that person is getting the right information to find a trainer where they are. So yeah, I feel like it can happen, but like I say, it's down to us. I feel like to make sure that we're doing the right things to inspire the people to come into it. I have one problem. So I've been teaching bark on command. He'll bark when there is food. If I say quiet, then he'll be quiet. But without food, he's not barking when I ask. Any advice, please? So this comes back to when I was doing sort of my bark on command. So basically, what I was doing is I was holding a toy, and what I would do is I would say speak, 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 and then I'll wait for him to speak, and then I'll give him the bar. What ended up happening is that when I was asking him to speak to someone in front of me, he would turn around and bark at me, because when I say speak, his training has been to look at me and bark. So then what I had to do is I had to hang the bite bar on a fence and then say speak, and then all of a sudden he was then looking at the object. So I never had it in my hands anymore. He was then looking at the object and barking at that. But yeah, like I say, I'd possibly start putting the food out in front, and asking him to speak, have him by the collar, asking him to speak whilst he's looking at the food. And if he barks whilst he looks at the food, then you can let him go, and then let him go and get it. That's possibly something I would do. Like I say, I'm not a trainer, so this is just how it kind of, from what I know, from what I've learned through my training or some experiences I've had. But yeah, if the dog is only doing it for the treat as well, sometimes have it in a pocket, have the treat in a pocket, ask him to speak, and if he speaks, then then take it out your pocket and give the treat to the dog. So hide the treat. Start off with it in your hand, ask to speak, say yes, well done, and then put them in your pocket, ask him to speak. If he speaks, then put your hand in the pocket, give the treat. Hope that makes sense. That kind of made sense to me, I think. David Cummins, got to go back to work. Thanks in chat soon. All right, Dave. David, I'll speak to you soon. AJP, the problem is a lot of people mistake a protection dog is they think they have to be aggressive towards strangers, but that's not the case. They should be social and protect when it's necessary. Absolutely. And like I say, I think that's a common misconception that we have. The people think that we do have aggressive dogs, and that's what I've tried to prove with my channel. I mean, people that know me and people that come to my place or like my mum and dad's place when the dog's there, they're very wary, and they still see him as aggressive when they first turn up, but then once they've been there for 10-15 minutes, they normally start relaxing. and realise that he's just messing around and he's just playing and he's just a normal pet. But because of what people know of my job, etc., they turn up very hesitant and expecting the dog to be aggressive. Now, he obviously has, if he doesn't know who you are, there is a level of warning when you first turn up that some people would call aggressive, possibly, but that's because of the training that he's got, that when he gives a warning, it is a warning that you want to take note of. There's no point in him giving in little yelps when you're on site and someone walks on. There's no point in my dog giving little yelps. So everything he's been taught in terms of barking at people has always been to be the loudest, the deepest, the most intimidating. So yeah, the people come to my place or wherever it is, and their first thought is that he's aggressive, but within 10 minutes they've normally chilled out and they realise that he's just a normal pet. And once you've been accepted in, then he's happy to treat you the same as everyone else. XRP, Danny, to be honest, the dog security industry is watered down too much, so rates aren't moving. Now, hopefully rates will start moving with the minimum wage going up and the price of living, or the cost of living, whatever they call it. Now is the perfect time for all companies, not just a few, all companies, to raise their price just enough that they can give dog handlers more money. Now, it's going to be very hard for dog handlers to have a big increase in pay rise because of how competitive the industry is, and there will be companies that will. There are companies that will be able to pay handlers less than others. Therefore, they'll be able to quote cheaper. And I've said it before, lots of clients on site, they need you there for insurance purposes. So they're necessarily not worried about who is there. They just look at how much it's going to cost. And if you haven't got contacts, they'll normally just go with possibly the cheapest quote. So I feel like it's a chance for all companies to up their prices a little bit, with the minimum wage going up just enough so that they can give the dog handlers the extra money in order to get a pay rise and get nearer to possibly what we deserve. But like I say, no one's ever really going to get rich being a security dog handler, working out on site. You're never going to become a millionaire. You do it for working with dogs. You do it for enjoying the job. You're never going to do it to become a millionaire. Where was we? Yes, I get that, and it's very sad to see this, especially if you have trained and gone to the trouble of getting certificates. Keep up, CT. Yeah, I had a email from my boss the other day that we got from the trainer, just saying just want to make sure that everyone's keeping up their CT training, coming once a month for insurance purposes, because on our insurance it says that the dog handlers we've got go to one session a month. So if you're on site and you haven't been for a couple of months and your dog has a bite, the insurance can turn around and say, well, they missed a training session last month, or they missed a training session 2 months ago. We don't feel like we need to pay out now because you've broken the terms and conditions. So yeah, keep up, CT. Danny makes a mockery of us and NASDO and other bodies, and none of the standards have a real clout, just guidance and best practice. My first protection dog are trained only to bite, close, and bring in the person to the floor. That's all well and good until someone's shirtless and you haven't trained your dog to do trousers or whatever it is. But yeah, like I say, it all depends. I don't know what your training was. It probably did work. I'm not saying it didn't work. I'm just saying that obviously if you're training your dog to upper body, and then you come up against someone shirtless, then that possibly could become an issue. It may not. It probably didn't. That's not true. He's a perfect trainer. He does no such thing. He has outstanding results. So I think that's going back to Poseidon. I'll stay out of that. Out of the old and in with the new trainers. Yeah, like I say, there's. I never had much understanding of dog training, to be honest. Before getting into this, I'd obviously done the pet stuff and things like that. I had no idea. I was very green on the security dog handling, so I only know the training that I've been through. But since I've been in it and I've listened to podcasts and people have said about positive only training, balanced training, I don't really know whether I can. I don't really know if I could tell you what my trainer is. I don't think I could tell you definitely which one it is because I've only seen that style. So yeah, I'll be quite interested in regarding to see what positive only. I know my trainer's probably not positive only, but then he's not like the jerk either. So I'm not 100% sure what training I know or I've been through. But sort of definitely the balanced I'll be quite interested in. So obviously good and so like reinforcements and obviously positive punishment or whatever it is. This is all through the Canine Paradigm podcast that I've heard these words. They're like trigger words to me. Anyway, I imagine your trainer is balanced. I feel like he is. I'd say that dogs are praised, reinforced, and positive punishment. I feel like that's what I've gone through, but I don't know for sure. But I know that my trainer's not a bad trainer, and I feel like he is quite balanced. But like I say, I couldn't be 100% true. Where was I? Andy Llewellyn, my Mastiff ex Boris, bit held and shook the one time he had to bite. He let go on a verbal command and came back to heel with perfection too. Sorry. UK Security 108. Hey, sorry, I'm late on duty. You was late on duty, or you late because of duty? I'm sure you're just late because you are on duty. Hi mate, how you doing? I need to message you, check in with you. I haven't spoke to you in a while. I know I spoke to you a little while ago, and you was talking about a video that I haven't seen yet. So I might give you a text later on and just find out what's going on with that. XRP, no such thing as self-contained. Because basic minimum welfare has to be provided. Now, I believe that they don't have to offer you toilets or facilities on site. That's what I believe. So let's, for argument's sake, you had to go and look after a property that had no toilets. That's why they would put a dog handler on there, because they don't need to offer you that. Where a security officer, a security guard, they would have to offer that. XRP, yeah, they do. Okay, that's interesting. That counters what I've been told. Like I say, I don't know everything, and I can be proved wrong. But that's how it was always said to me. Mohammed, how are you, mate? I'm good. If you're still in, sorry, it's taken me a while to get to your comment. We've been expanding on conversations, etc. I'm very good. I hope you're well. Annual Llewellyn, I had to speak and quiet trained with my GSD a month after having her. She's so loud. I had to capitalize on then teach quiet ASAP. Yeah, like I say, when the dog's finding its bark, obviously when they're young, that's obviously the best time to try and teach the speak on command and obviously the quiet, because the dog is finding its voice, and if you can get it in early, then that's possibly the best chance, not the best chance you've got, but that's obviously a prime time to teach the dog about bark, when it can bark and when it can't bark, because otherwise you end up with a howling dog at 2 a.m. that's looking out the window for no reason whatsoever. Maybe it just sees a bit of litter going across and it starts howling. If you can teach it the bark on command and the quiet when it's first finding its voice, then sometimes that can be really beneficial. AJP is going to head off. No worries. All right. Thank you for dropping in. Would have confused him if someone was shirtless. See, that's the thing, isn't it? That people will try and get around, and they'll try and confuse the dogs, thinking, "Oh, this dog's only going to bite clothes," and then they come in shirtless, and the next thing they know, they've got a 45 kilo dog hanging off their arm because they thought that having no shirt on was gonna give them the upper hand. Danny, I agree with Michael. Dog units are meant to be self-contained. Yeah, like I say, that's what I heard. I'm not saying that that's definitely correct. I'd like to say I can be proven wrong, but my understanding was dog handlers were meant to be self-contained because there would be sites where there are no facilities and they need to be able to send a security officer there, and they decided that security dog handlers were going to be them people. But like I say, I'm not going to get into a massive argument on whether I'm right or you're right. UK Security 101. Yes, I was late because I'm on duty, having some pretty bad weather down here. Wind is literally ripping the site apart. My site last night had some serious wind, and it's not nice. And obviously there is lots of extra sounds that come with wind, of fences rattling and different things like that. So that obviously brings its own sort of difficulties of the fences rattling, certain things falling off, maybe signs setting off security lights, whatever. If you've got alarms there, false alarms from different things. So yeah, obviously the wind, and especially down in the southwest, I imagine that gets hit pretty hard. I imagine by the time it gets to the southeast, it's calmed itself down. So what if a dog handler turns up in an estate car? Now, I sound like I'm mumbling, but I'm trying to get this right. Now, my understanding is that a dog handler should be self-contained. They should have everything that they need in order to do the shift. If that dog handler turns up in an estate car and hasn't got the equipment to do the job, then that's down to them. They turn up. The dog handler turns up with how they feel they can get through the shift. I'm not really sure. It's just what I've heard, and I know that my first site that I was doing, I was in my 4x4, and I had no facilities. There were facilities on site, but they locked it, and I wasn't allowed to use it. So I was there on a 12-hour shift with no toilets, no water. In terms of water, I just had to make sure I had enough bottles in the car to obviously hydrate myself, hydrate the dog. And like I say, toilet is make sure you go before you leave for work. And obviously there's some bushes around and you have to use them. So yeah, that was my understanding, and that's how I spent the first 3 months of my dog handling working life, weeding bushes and making sure I went before I left for work, and making sure I had enough water in bottles for me and the dog whilst I was there. So the second video, my latest one, was security dog handler mini best day. So that mini best day had some training in it, and I was quite interested to see I was quite interested to see how that would do on views, because if I put on there security dog training or protection training, whatever it is, there's lots of people that will click onto it. And yes, it would be nice, obviously, to get as many views as I can. But what I wanted to do was give some training footage for people that watch my videos, not because of what it says in the title, but because they enjoy the message that the video has. So that mini best day was basically one of the 5 freedoms is about the dog being able to be a dog, and making sure that you give the dog a chance each day to be a dog, whether that's chasing a ball, doing something that the dog really likes. It was something that I heard on the Canine Paradigm about. Before you would put a dog down, you'd make sure that they had their best day, whatever was possible for that dog. And let's say the dog was still young and was still pretty athletic, but the dog needed to be put down for an illness or whatever it was, that you would make sure you gave it its best day of playing ball, going to the beach, whatever it is. And the mini best day was about making time each day for that dog to get his best time. But then also in that there was some training footage, and like I say, I put that in there, and I sort of hid it out of the title because I wanted people to go on there to get my message about the mini best day, but then get training footage as like a bonus for not skipping past the video because of the title. And I'd say my last 2 videos haven't been great on views. They've been down in sort of like my last 10 videos. They've been down. But it doesn't really bother me. Like I say, I've never really done it in order to get lots of views. But I was quite interested with the mini best day. Like I say, if I put on there that there was protection training, or put a picture up on there of the dog doing protection training, I'm sure would have got a lot more videos, because people would have gone, oh, there's a dog's biting someone, so I'm going to click on it. So I kind of hid that in there, and there obviously will be more videos of me training, but I don't think I'm going to put on there that it is a training video or a video from training, because I want people to go on each video and get the message that maybe I'm trying to put out, rather than just clicking on the ones where the dog's being trained to bite sleeves, or the dog's being trained to do a patrol, whatever it is. So not necessarily are you ever going to find all my bite videos are going to be in the title. They're going to be hidden in the actual message that I'm trying to get out. And the message of that video was about giving the dog its mini best day. So every day, giving the dog a time to have its best time, play ball, play tug, whatever it is, go on long walks, chill on the bed, just spending time with you, whatever it is that dog really enjoys doing, is making sure that dog gets the opportunity to do that to every day. But as someone did point out in the comments, can't remember who it was, that is one of the 5 freedoms, the dog being able to be itself, and having the opportunity to express itself as a dog. So we're 58.5 minutes. Has anyone got any more questions? Anything else they want to talk about? Anything that maybe I've discussed through this that they have extra questions about? Like I say, this live was just to have a chat, and obviously starting off just expressing to you obviously the day I'm having, and because I wanted to do extra stuff today after my shift, I'm on like a 32-hour day in order to make sure I don't mess up my sleeping pattern. And I feel like that's an important message at the start, is that if you want to do stuff outside your working life, sometimes you are going to end up pulling 24, 30-hour days in order not to mess up your sleeping pattern. Because like I say, it would have been quite easy for me to grab a couple of hours before this live, and then I'll be up 2-3 o'clock in the morning. Whereas if I've just gone through it, hopefully I can get to about 10, half 10, and then have a good sleep in order for the shift tomorrow. So like I say, like I say, it's one of the things you have to enjoy about the job. If you don't enjoy being tired or being a little bit exhausted, then you're not going to enjoy this job. So it's one of the things you have to get used to. I feel like a lot of my bad sleeping patterns this week has been because I didn't have my Sunday shift. So because I had never had my Sunday shift, it kind of messed with my normal sleeping pattern on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But yeah, that's just something that you have to get used to as well. UK Security 101. Got a question for you, Michael. Do you not find it weird that when you're doing the bite, most trainers teach the dog to go for the arm that doesn't have the weapon in? Yes. So yes and no. So if I was going to, I feel like a dog is always going to go for whatever's nearest, and that's why if a dog is in biting mode, you never put your face down to the dog's head level, because my personal opinion is that yes, the dog will be trained to bite arms or whatever it is, but in a bit of a frenzy where we know when dogs are in kind of like the biting mode, is that their head is like up here and they're not always thinking 100% that they will bite whatever's closest. But in if I was going to attack someone or hit someone, my natural stance would be to have the weapon in this hand behind me in order to get leverage to hit or to lunge or whatever it is. But the natural thing is to put my right arm out and my left arm back, therefore presenting the unweaponed arm as the nearest object. And yes, ideally you would want the dog to go for the arm with a weapon, but if the dog goes for the arm with a weapon, the person's quite easily just going to change hands and have it in the other one anyway. That's why I kind of have this back and forth when I think about them kind of situations of like dealing with someone with a weapon, is that if I send my dog in to deal with this person, there's a good chance I'm going to have to go in with him, because the dog's going to bite, the person's going to change hands, the person's going to take the knife from the bitten arm to the other one. Now I have to possibly try and help the dog. So yeah, that's something that I think I've thought about as well, is that just because you send your dog in to deal with someone with a weapon, there's a good chance that maybe you aren't going to have to be too far behind. And like I say, if he changes hands and then has the weapon in the other hand, possibly you need to get into an altercation, and hopefully they won't be able to do too much with a 45-kilo dog pulling them and having to go at one side of them. They've got to concentrate on one person. They've either got to concentrate on the dog or they've got to concentrate on you. And I'm not saying that you double team them to cause maximum damage or whatever it is, but maybe you double team them in order to de-escalate the situation the quickest and the safest way possible, to a point where you can get the dog off as quick as possible. But yeah, like I say, that's just my thought. If you feel like an axe in motion or a lunge in motion, the arm with the weapon is always furthest away from where the dog will be. So it kind of makes sense that the dog would hit the nearest arm, which would be the one that doesn't have the weapon in it. That's just kind of my that's just gone. That's just what I'm thinking. Some of that is Stu safety. With a green dog and a green handler, you can't 100% know what the dog is going to do. Last thing you want is the dog going in. He's going onto a hand that is holding a weapon. I just think it would make sense. It would make more sense and will minimize the risk to the dog and you by removing the threat. Yeah, but like I say, if your dog goes onto the arm with the weapon, that natural reaction is for that person to get the weapon from that hand into the free arm. Therefore, it's they've still got the weapon. You haven't minimized it at all. All you've done is you've possibly put it in their non-dominant hand, therefore possibly helping the situation, but unlikely because they've still got the weapon. Did you just say you want you and your dog to double team someone? This channel has gone downhill again. No. To be honest with you, when I first read that, I thought to myself, I thought you was being serious, but I'm hoping that you meaning this in the sarcastic way. This is because we've gone over the hour again, isn't it? So I'm hoping that you're being sarcastic. I'm sure you are, because I'm sure everyone understands that if you send your dog in and your dog's being hit with a bar or a weapon, that you're not just going to stand there. You're not just going to stand there and let it happen to your dog. You will take the brunt, or you will help the dog out. But I did generally think that you meant that the first time I saw it, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get through these comments, and then I'm going to get to this comment and find out and read it properly, and not read it whilst I'm talking about something else. But yeah, me and the dog, I would double team someone with the dog if the mood was right and the feeling was right. And but yeah, like I say, when I'm talking about double teaming, like I say, the most important part of what I was trying to say, which I'm sure a lot of you got, and I'm sure that Poseidon got as well, is that if you are willing to send your dog into a dangerous situation where a weapon is involved, just remember that you probably don't need to be too far behind. Because like I say, if you can get that person on the ground or whatever it is and be able to disarm and get the dog off, that's the best thing. Because the quicker you can get the dog off in a safe manner, the best it's going to be for everyone. Brings a new meaning to dogging. If the mood was right, you're making this worse. Over 1 hour always descends into filth. But you are right. If the dog goes in, so are you. Exactly, and that's part of. Although the law don't see you as a security team, and your dog is your possession. Although they don't see you as a security team, you are a team. And let me 100% assure you that if I went in, my dog would not be far behind anyway. So if your dog is willing to go in with you, you should be willing to go in. This is getting worse. If your dog is willing to go into a fight with you, then you should be willing to go into a fight to help your dog. And please do not comment on what I was saying just before that, because I've been up a long time. I don't want to use it as an excuse, but I have been up a long time. We are over the hour. Someone's brought up dogging. Someone has brought up double teaming with a dog. Did I mention that this live is sponsored by Coca-Cola Original Taste for all your tired needs? Michael, just stop. Has anyone got anything else? I'll tell you what. We'll stay on for a little bit more, because we're over the hour now. The kind of the serious part of the live I wanted to do is now done. So if anyone's got something a bit fun, something a bit fun that they want to bring up, maybe it's not even roughly about dog handling, but maybe something that's not too structured into dog training or the job or whatever. But if anyone's got anything, I can't remember what I was going to say. I was about to say something, but I can't remember what it was now. No, I can't remember. In terms of anyone that's watching, where do your dogs go when you go on holiday? So I was away for some of the weekends. So my dog goes to his nan and granddad's because that's where he was brought up for the first sort of 2 years of his life. So obviously that's very handy for me, but obviously not everyone has that opportunity. So I'll be interested to know where their dogs go. Do they if they go to a kennels, do they have a specialised working dog kennel that they send them to, or is there do they give them to maybe other handlers that the dog knows? Holiday, they don't exist when you run a company. Oh, someone get the small violin out, the world's smallest violin, to play the world's saddest song for the man with the millions that is employing the masses. But if I am away, there are only 2 people that can handle my dogs, and it has to be at my house. Okay, so that's interesting. So you get you have more of like a house sitter than sending the dogs away. That makes sense. Like I say, well, my dog basically goes back to what he believes is his home or his shared home or whatever it is. So yeah, that makes sense because like I say, sending my dog back to somewhere he knows and he's very comfortable with is good. XRP, stay with me 24/7. Interesting. So not that I'm trying to be cheeky. So does that mean that you've not had holidays abroad for over the last X amount of years, or do you only holiday in the UK or wherever you are? UK Security One, never had a holiday since I've had him, and wouldn't trust anyone with him, mate. That's fair enough, and I would like to think that every dog I have, I'll be able to pass on to someone. But obviously that's not always the case. So I know that there's handlers that go to my training. They have specialised kennels for working dogs, where their dog can be sent there for the week, or whatever it is, 2 weeks, and they can be looked after. How costly that is, I imagine that's probably quite costly. Poseidon, a lot of kennels are not prepared for working dogs. Yeah, I understand that. That's why I was saying like it would have to be maybe possibly there would possibly have to be like a specialized kennels. But that's brought a bit of an idea to myself. Not that I'm going to put it out there, but that's something to think about. XRP, works too demanding. Work is always too demanding. You just need to make sure you don't run yourself into the ground. But you said you was going to be retiring soon anyway. UK Security 101, besides maybe the boss. Well, the good news is for you is that the boss never takes an holiday because they don't exist when you run a big company and employ people like yourself. But yeah, like I say, that was something I thought about the other day, and it was interesting to get more people's takes on it. But it sounds like that no one goes on holiday, and I seem to be the only one that does it. Does it? Because I've taken, ever since I've started doing this job, I've also taken my dog. I've also taken my dog on holiday to sort of like they're not caravan parks, but like where you have like the nice chalets and things like that. I've taken my dog on them types of holidays where there's been forests we can go and mess around in, and like he just stays in the chalets. As not saying that everyone's dog's going to be able to do that, but is that something that you have done or would consider? If I was making millions, I would have holidays. Need to get UK Security 101 out there more then. Get him earning some money. Oh, man. Right. I'm going to leave it there, guys. That is coming up to an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to leave it there because I feel like I'm mumbling now, and I feel like I'm properly running out of breath, energy. I need to go and have some dinner as well. So I'm going to leave it there. Right, thanks for everyone that jumped in. There'll be another one of these in 2 weeks. Hopefully you'll come back in and you'll have some new questions. Again, in the description of this video is the Discord. I've put a updated link, so if you want to join the Discord group and carry on this conversation later, then the link's down there to do that. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it and it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe and like the video. Put any comments down below if you've got any, and I will see you again in a couple of weeks. Enjoy your time, guys. See you later.